Hello to all my champions, hello to all my class 10th titans. So my dear champion, in today's video, I'm going to give you few powerful short tips and tricks that will make your trigonometry very easy. I know most of the students stuck in trigonometry, they generally take trigonometry as a challenge. Trigonometry looks little scary and horrible for the students, I know. Because of some, some basics that you should know in trigonometry. If you want to score good marks in trigonometry without any mistake, then try to understand these concepts that I'm going to tell in this video. So trigonometry is easy if you know this. What you know this? Look at the first point. So why does it feel so hard? Majority of the students feels that trigonometry is very tough, very difficult to solve. Because of why? Look, first point. You memorized the sine, cos, tan. You never asked what they are. So if you are dealing with trigonometric functions, sine, cos, tan, cosec, sec, cot, so what they are, don't memorize. Don't just mugging up the terms. Don't do this. Don't follow the rote learning. Try to understand what exactly sine is, what exactly cos is, what exactly tan is. So why should be there? What they are, why they are, how they are. Okay, so you have to understand what sine is, what cos is, what tan is. So I'm going to give you every information today, don't worry. The second point comes up here is, you learn the table by heart and forgot in 3 days. Table, I'm talking about table. There is a trigonometric table. Basically, there is a table in which few angles are there, 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, and one more angle is there, 90 degree. And we generally find the values of sine, cos, tan, cosec, sec, cot. Sine 0 degree 0, sine 30 1 by 2, sine 45 1 by root 2, sine 60 root 3 by 2, and sine 90 is equal to 1. So some student, what they used to do, they memorize these values without knowing how they came, how these values are derived, how these values comes up. They don't try to even understand. They don't have curiosity to know how these values has come. So my dear, don't memorize only the values. Please try to understand the concept, so that if you, unfortunately, due to pressure, due to tension, if you might be forgetting the values in examination hall, you guys can derive on the spot the values if you know the concept, how they came, right? So instead of memorizing the values, instead of just rote learning process, try to follow the proper methodology, how they came, the concepts, chase concepts. Marks automatically will reflect on your mark sheet. Don't worry. Chase concept. Don't chase marks. Okay. So this is very important. Rote memory dies before the exam. Pattern memory doesn't. Okay. Now you mix up which side is opposite. So few students are having lot of issues to identify which is perpendicular, which is base, and which will be hypotenuse in a right angle triangle. Because in this chapter we will be dealing with only right angle triangle basically, right? So very important. Now, height and distance, there is one more chapter in class 10th, some application of trigonometry, in which we will be applying trigonometric principles to solve the word problem question. And there will be lengthy word problem question. English language will be there, English story will be there. After reading the comprehensive portion which is given there, you have to draw the diagram and solve the question to find out the correct answer. So this is very important. So some student thinks that height and distance chapter is basically English. No, my dear. That is pure trigonometry. English is given information given there in English. You have to understand the language and you have to make the right angle triangle, then taking sine, cos, tan according to situation. Now you have to solve. So this is very important. So let's talk about one by one. So what is sine theta actually? So first understand, I am taking one example only, sine theta. If you understand this, you will be able to understand cos theta, tan theta, cosec theta, sec theta, and cot theta. Don't worry for other 5 remaining trigonometric functions. So first understand sine theta. My dear champion, first of all, it is not a formula. It is not a formula. It is a division. And what kind of division is this? Listen, champion. So I have right angle triangle. Look at the right angle triangle. In this right angle triangle, I have this angle here, theta. This angle is theta basically. Now, my dear champion, in a right angle triangle, there are 3 sides. 3 sides. And here is 90 degree. And if this is 90 degree, now mark an arrow opposite to 90 degree. So the arrow which is opposite to 90 degree is always hypotenuse. Whatever is the orientation of triangle doesn't matter. The opposite arrow of the 90 degree will be hypotenuse. For example, let's say this is the right angle triangle, and right angle is here. So this will be hypotenuse. This will be hypotenuse. Now I have right angle triangle here, like this. This is a right angle triangle. So hypotenuse will be this. Hypotenuse is king, always. No one can change hypotenuse. Now if I take one more triangle here, this is the right angle triangle. Right angle is here. So hypotenuse will be this. I hope this is clear to you all. So hypotenuse is the opposite side of 90 degree. When you mark an arrow which is leaving the 90 degree and going in some direction, so that direction decides the direction of position of hypotenuse. Now moving ahead. Now my dear, if we are dealing with this angle theta, now this angle theta is on this line, this angle theta is aligned, hypotenuse is hypotenuse. This angle theta is now aligned with this line. So for this theta, this is called adjacent side. And adjacent side is equal to, this is basically base. This is called base in other term. And if we mark an arrow from theta, if just imagine the arrow is leaving the theta in going in some direction, so that direction, the side in the direction of arrow will be opposite side for that theta, and this is called perpendicular. This line is called perpendicular. I hope you all are getting my point. For example, if I mark here theta in this triangle, so this will become base and this will become perpendicular. So the side of the right angle triangle on which theta is present, theta is situated, that side is called base, and hypotenuse is fixed. So the remaining side will be perpendicular, has to be perpendicular. For example, if I take theta here, this is theta. Now hypotenuse is fixed. Now for this theta, this will be the adjacent side, because theta is associated with this line and this line, and this is hypotenuse. So this line will be base and it has to be perpendicular. For example, in that right angle triangle, here is theta. So for this theta, this will become base and it has to be perpendicular. So base is the side which is associated with theta, which is adjacent of theta. So this identification is very important. If you can identify base, perpendicular and hypotenuse, trust me, 50% of trigonometry is already covered. Now moving ahead, what is sine theta? So my dear champion, sine theta is equal to the ratio. I have already told you, it is not a formula, it is a division. So sine theta is the division of perpendicular and hypotenuse. So if we take in this triangle, let's say this is A, this is B, and this is C, and theta is there. So sine theta will be what? Perpendicular by hypotenuse. So for this theta, I am writing sine theta, no? So we are dealing with theta. So for this theta, perpendicular is AB. So this will be AB divided by hypotenuse is EC. Similarly, cos theta is the ratio of base by hypotenuse, and we are dealing with theta. So for this theta, base will become BC and hypotenuse will become AC. I hope this is clear to you all. Is it clear to you all? So sine, cos, and you guys will be studying all the other trigonometric ratios in chapter. Don't worry, this video is just to give you, you should know the basics to make your trigonometry easy. Moving ahead. Okay, which side is opposite, which is perpendicular, which is base, which is hypotenuse? Let's talk about again. So my dear, I have this right angle triangle. If theta is here and 90 degrees here, so 90 degree here means this is hypotenuse, fix. This will be hypotenuse. Now where will be base? This will be base because theta is associated with this line. So this has to be base, and the side which is left, it has to be perpendicular. Perpendicular. I hope this is clear to you all. So in short, B is represented as capital B, H is represented as capital H, and perpendicular as capital P. If I take one more triangle here, for example, I have this triangle. I have one more triangle here. Just a second guys, some technical problem. It is not erasing. I don't know what's happening here. Just a second guys. Okay, now my dear champion, look, I have this right angle triangle now. I have this right angle triangle now, and I'm taking theta here. I'm taking theta here. So for this theta, Let's say I'm writing triangle name is ABC, right? And I'm taking here one more angle as phi. This is called phi, champion. So if I ask you base for theta, so for theta base will be what? This will be base, because there is a 90 degrees, so it has to be hypotenuse. So this will be the base. I hope you are getting my point. Now if I ask you base for phi, so which side will be base? Phi is associated with this side, so it has to be base AB. Clear, everyone? Now moving ahead. Now perpendicular for theta. So what will be perpendicular for theta? Come on, theta is here. So for theta, this is base, this is hypotenuse. So the remaining side will be perpendicular, AB. Now if I ask you perpendicular for phi, so what will be perpendicular for phi? This is phi here, this is phi here. So this will be the perpendicular for phi, because for phi AB is base, this is hypotenuse, so BC will be. So my dear champion, in trigonometry, in a right angle triangle, hypotenuse is fixed, but base and perpendicular are not fixed. Base and perpendicular are not fixed. It depends on the position of angle. It depends on what? Position of angle, or the angle we are dealing with. It depends on position of angle. I hope this is clear to you all, right? So the position of base and position of perpendicular is not fixed. It depends on position of angle, the angle which we are dealing with, Okay, moving ahead. So I hope this is clear to you all. Very simple. If I take a right angle triangle here, okay, and here is A. This is A, this is B, and this is C. Now if I ask you, this is angle A and this is angle C. If I ask you sine A, sine is what? Sine is basically perpendicular by hypotenuse. You might be getting confused about this, so let me give you here P, B, P, H, H, B. This is the short trick, P, B, P, Pandit Badri Prasad, Har Bhole. Something like this. You can make any, short trick to remember. So first is sine. This is sine, perpendicular by hypotenuse. After sine, cos comes up, base by hypotenuse. After cos, tan comes up. This is sine, perpendicular by hypotenuse, base by hypotenuse cos, and this is tan. And now from downward to upward, hypotenuse by perpendicular, this is basically cosec. Hypotenuse by base, this is basically sec, and base by perpendicular, this is basically cot. So these three trigonometric ratios are the reciprocal of the upper three one. The reciprocal of sine is cosec, the reciprocal of cos is sec, the reciprocal of tan is cot. Please champion. So sine A will be what in this triangle? Sine A is perpendicular by hypotenuse, and we are dealing with A. Sine means perpendicular by hypotenuse, and we are dealing with A. So for A, BC will be the perpendicular. BC divided by what? Perpendicular is AC. But if I ask you sine C, where is C? Now C is this, and sine means what? Perpendicular by hypotenuse. So for this angle C, the perpendicular is AB, and hypotenuse will be AC. Look, both answers are different from each other. So the position of perpendicular and base are not fixed. It depends the angle. It depends on the position of angle with which we are dealing with. Okay, so now let's talk about this. This is very interesting, champion. So this is the table of trigonometric angle and their values. So in class 10th we are dealing with only 5 angles from 0 to 90, 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. But in higher classes you will be dealing with some other angle, 120, 135, 150 till 180 till 360. But here in class 10th we have only this, and here in this slide I am talking about only 3 trigonometric functions, because the remaining 3 trigonometric functions are the reciprocal of these. So you just need to find out the values of these 3. If you get the value of these 3, the other 3 will be automatically come, don't worry. So now some student, what they used to do, they used to wrote this, they used to memorize this instead of understanding the short trick, so that you guys can make this table in fraction, in 1-2 seconds, 1-2 minutes in examination hall. You required only 20, 30 and 40 seconds to make this table. How? Listen. So just imagine these values are not here. Just imagine these values are not here. So what you need to do, write the counting in sine table. Write the counting in sine first. Write the counting in sine first from 0 to 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. First, please ignore, please imagine these values are not here. For a little while, please imagine the values are not here. Okay, so just a second. Okay, so here write the counting 0, 1, 2, 3, and here is 4. Now divide this counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Divide all the numbers by 4. Divide by 4. First write the counting till 4 and now divide by 4. After dividing by 4, put the root over all these numbers. Put the root over all these numbers. Wow, sir, what a trick. First write the counting, divide by 4, now put the root. Now my dear champion, 0 by 4 is what? 0, and root 0 is 0, and look, this is the value. 1 by 4 is what? 4 is a perfect square, so root 1 by 4 will be equal to 1 by 2. Can you see here? This is 1 by 2. 2 by 4, so 2 will cancel this 4 by 2 times. So in numerator 1 is there, in denominator 2 is there, so 1 is 1, so this is equal to 1 by root 2. Wow, and this is the value. Root 3 by 4, root 3 is not a perfect square, but root 4 is a perfect square. 4 is a perfect square, so the result will be what? Root 3 will remain as it is, and 4 means 2, so root 3 by 2, this is the answer. 4 by 4 is what? 1, 4 cancels 1, so this is equal to 1, so we have 1 here. After getting the values of sine, now reverse all the values to fill the cos table. So last value will come here at first. Can you see? Last value, this value will come to the here. This second last will come here, and this will automatically match because we have only 5 angles, so this will the middle, and this value will go there, and this value, this 0 will go there. Reverse the values. After getting the sine values, reverse the values for cos. Now when you get, you have sine values, you have cos values. Now to find the 10 values, divide the upper rows from the below one. Divide the sine values from the cos values. So sine is 0, so if we divide here 0 by 1, so 0 by 1 is 0, and which is 0 here. This is 1 by 2, this is root 3 by 2, so 1 by 2 divided by root 3 by 2, 1 by 2, root 3 by 2, so 2 cancel, so we have 1 by root 3. Oh, this is there. 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2, this is 1 by root 2 divided by 1 by root 2 cancel, so we have 1, so answer is 1. This is root 3 by 2, 1 by 2, so if we divide root 3 by 2 by 1 by 2, 2 cancel, so we have root 3 here. And if we divide 1 by 0, a non-zero number can't be divided by 0, and that is called not defined. So these are the values. Very magical, just a magic champion. Write the counting, divide by 4, put the root, and get the sine values. And once you get the sine values, cos will automatically come. And once you have sine and cos, divide sine values from cos values to get the this 10 values. Now moving ahead, identities. So we have 3 identities. These are the 3 formulas. Sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1, second and third. And do you know, this is the powerful. This is the powerful. This is the parent. That's why I have mentioned here parent. And this is the king. The king. My dear, this is the king. Because second and third identity are produced from this only. We can deduce these 2 identities from this only directly. Let me show you how. So my dear champion, we have first identity, sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Please keep this identity in your mind. This will automatically memorize to you. Don't worry. Okay. So if we divide this entire identity, right hand side, both hand side, by sine square theta. So let's divide sine square theta. So sine square theta divided by sine square theta. Cos square theta divided by sine square theta and 1 by sine square theta. So sine by sine, this is 1, and cos by sine is equal to cot. So this is 1 plus, and a square is there, so this will be cot square theta, and 1 by sine is cosec square theta. Oh my god, this is the third identity. Can you see here? Now if we divide this entire equation, first we have divided by sine, now divide by cos. So sine square theta divided by cos square theta. This is cos square theta divided by cos square theta, and this is equal to 1 by cos square theta. So sine by cos is equal to 10, and a square is there, so this will be 10 square theta. Cos by cos cancel 1. 1 by cos is equal to sec square theta. So we have second identity. 1 plus 10 square theta equals to sec square theta, and that is the reason why we are calling this identity as the parent, the king, because this identity comes from this, and this identity also comes from this. This is the father, mother, this is the parent. So these are the very important thing, and again I'm repeating, the most important thing is right angle triangle. Understanding the right angle triangle, understanding the base, where is perpendicular, and where is hypotenuse. This is very important to understand, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If you feel that this video really helped you all, kindly don't forget to share with your friends and subscribe the channel, because this channel is dedicatedly designed for class 10th board exam preparation. Thank you so much. Stay blessed, everyone.